All right, welcome back. Day 2 of the Stronghold Challenge. Now, might feel like I'm looking past you a little bit. I got some notes on my screen over here that I'm reading. But here we go. Yesterday, you took the first step with ownership, right? You can't be in the fight if you don't know you're in it. You admitted there's a fight you've been avoiding. You wrote it down. And here's why that matters. Because until you name it, it owns you. All right, today we take it further. Today is about spotting the stronghold. We're starting to track down the origin. Go to the root. All right? Here's the truth. The battles we face may look different on the surface, but underneath, almost every single one of them comes down to just 4 root strongholds. Okay? This is important. And this might throw you off a little bit when you hear this for the first time. But the reality is, you don't have 27 different problems. You've got probably 1 or 2 or a mixture of a few of these root causes that are manifesting in a lot of different ways in your life. Okay? So I don't want you to get fired up. We're just bringing everything into the light of day. Here we go. These are the 4 common, sort of the roots. First is fear. The voice that says, what if I fail? Just one example. The second is shame. The voice that says, I'm not enough. That often rides under scarcity, which says there isn't enough, and the root of that becomes, I'm not enough. But just a moment, that I'm jumping ahead of myself. The third one is doubt, the voice that says, what if this doesn't work? Right? Where did doubt originate? It's the oldest trick of the devil. It was mentioned in Genesis 3, where after, I'm paraphrasing. My ability to recite the Bible is not that great, but basically God said, this is the garden. You don't go in here. You don't touch the tree of life. And then the devil appears in Genesis 3 and says, did God really say that? That's all he had to do. Just force you to question yourself, right? So doubt shows up in questions like, what if it doesn't work? And then scarcity is the voice that says there's never going to be enough. All right. When I first learned this, it hit me like a ton of bricks, because for years I thought I had 100 different problems. I might have mentioned that already. Stress, overwork, money struggles, relationship breakdowns. But when I look closer, they all trace back to one thing. For me, it was scarcity. I was living like the world was always about to run out. Like there was never enough time, never enough money, never enough of me. And that one root shaped everything else. That's just being honest with you guys. Scarcity, lack. It's been an undertone in my life from the very beginning. That's what I want you to see today, not the surface level problem, okay? Scarcity might show up in situations like, oh, I don't have enough money to pay my bills, or I know I should be doing that. I know I should be working out, but I just don't have enough time to do that. Things like that, where you just don't, you can't see the time because you can't see the opportunity to solve the problem because you're so focused on the problem. So here's your assignment. Take the fight you wrote about yesterday and hold it up against these 4. Which one is it? Which voice sounds most like the one that's been running through your head? Then on your worksheet, write down your answer to this prompt. What is one stronghold you see at work in your life right now, and where does it show up most often? And then just like yesterday, don't overthink this. Be honest. Don't worry if you're not 100% certain. Just choose the one that fits best. Because once you spot the stronghold, you're going to start dismantling it, okay? But if you leave it blurry, it keeps its grip. if you start to go through, we put down below a link to one of the bonuses, the Stronghold Exposure Workshop. Just go through the introduction to begin with, and then start going through that. What you'll find in there is we talk a lot is that these lies that show up in one of these different strongholds, they're very abstract. They come with lies and myths attached to them that make them feel much larger than they are. And when we start to expose them, they just sort of fall apart. They dismantle themselves, right? Because once you start the stronghold, you can start dismantling it. That's my note. But if you leave it blurry, it keeps its grip. So that's your work today. Spot the stronghold. Choose fear, shame, doubt, or scarcity, where you think it's coming from, and claim where it's been showing up. Do the work, submit your worksheet, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 3, where we go back and trace the origin. We're going to do the origin hunt and trace where that stronghold first took root. All right, have a great day.